Today, we're going to talk about something that many of us take for granted, the 1-cent coin, also known as the penny. You've probably seen one today, maybe even tossed one aside as if it has no value. But what if I told you that this tiny piece of metal has an incredible history, and some of these pennies are actually worth far more than just 1 cent? Sounds crazy, right? Well, stick with me, because today we're going to explore the fascinating journey of the penny, from its creation over 200 years ago to its status as a collector's dream. We'll dive deep into its history, its changing designs, its controversial production costs, and yes, some rare pennies that could be worth thousands, or even millions of dollars. So, grab your change jar and let's take a deep dive into the world of the 1-cent coin. You'll never look at a penny the same way again. To understand the significance of the penny, we have to travel back in time, to the late 18th century. The United States had just won its independence from Great Britain and was trying to establish a unified system for currency. In 1792, the U.S. Congress passed the Coinage Act, creating the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia. This act established a national currency and was the beginning of standardized coin production. One of the first coins produced by the Mint was the 1-cent piece. Due to both production issues and an unpopular design, the chain cent was replaced within a year by a new design, the draped bus cent. As the 19th century progressed, the penny continued to evolve. The U.S. Mint experimented with new designs and materials, including copper, nickel, and even bronze. One of the more famous redesigns was the Indian head cent, which debuted in 1859. The Indian head cent featured a profile of Lady Liberty wearing a Native American headdress and was a favorite of coin collectors for its intricate design. It was in circulation until 1909 when it was replaced by the most famous penny of all time, the Lincoln cent. In 1909, the U.S. Mint made a monumental decision, one that would change the penny forever. They introduced the Lincoln cent to honor President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, who had led the country through the Civil War and emancipated enslaved people. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than an allegorical figure like Lady Liberty. The front of the coin showed Lincoln's profile, while the reverse featured 2 wheat stalks, symbolizing America's agricultural roots. Now, if you've ever looked closely at the back of a 1909 penny, you might have noticed something interesting: the initials VDB on the reverse side. These were the artist's initials. However, this caused a public outcry, and the Mint quickly removed the VDB from the coin after just a few months. Well, here's the kicker. The 1909 SVDB Lincoln cent is now one of the most sought-after coins in American history. In fact, this particular penny can be worth anywhere from $1,000 to $100,000, depending on its condition. Despite a few minor changes to the penny's design, the Lincoln cent largely remained unchanged for much of the 20th century. In 1959, however, the reverse design was altered to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The new reverse featured the Lincoln Memorial, which became one of the most recognizable symbols of the U.S. currency. This design would remain in circulation for over 50 years, until 2009, when the Mint issued a series of special designs to commemorate Lincoln's 200th birthday. These commemorative pennies had 4 different reverse designs, each representing a different stage in Lincoln's life, from his log cabin birthplace to his leadership during the Civil War. Finally, in 2010, the penny underwent yet another redesign, this time with a new reverse featuring the symbol of the unity that Lincoln fought to preserve during the Civil War. So, we know that the penny has a rich history, but here's something you may not have known: it actually costs more to produce a penny than it's worth. In 2020, the U.S. Mint spent about 1.7 cents to make a single penny. That means every time the Mint produces a penny, it's losing money. In fact, the Mint spends over $230 million every year just to produce pennies. And yet, the penny remains in circulation, even though many people argue it's an outdated coin and should be phased out. Here's where it gets really interesting. While most pennies are worth just 1 cent, some rare pennies are worth far more than that. Take the 1943 copper penny, for example. During World War II, the U.S. Mint switched from copper to zinc-coated steel to conserve copper for the war effort. However, a small number of 1943 copper pennies were mistakenly produced. Today, these coins are worth anywhere from $100,000 to $1 million. Then, there's the 1909 SVDB Lincoln cent. We talked about that earlier. In top condition, it can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. And don't forget the 1877 Indian head cent. Only 852,500 of these were minted, and in excellent condition, this coin can fetch $10,000 or more at auction. As we look to the future, the question remains, will the penny stick around for another century, or is it time for it to go the way of the